is the best revenge that you got on someone who was rude to you? When I first moved to Iceland, my next door neighbor had all-night parties every day of the week. The music was so loud that everything in my apartment shook. I had one of those apps on my phone that tells you what song is playing in the background, and it pinged every few minutes from my bedside table because it could pick up so clearly what music he was playing. After a week of this, I knocked on his door and asked him to turn the music down. He was quite friendly, said sorry, and told me proudly all about how he was a music producer and his speakers were just so powerful it was impossible to keep the volume low. I asked him to at least keep it down at night so I could sleep, and he said he would try. He didn't try, and it continued like this for another week. I knocked on his door again, but this time he was really pissed at me. He told me, "Do you realize this is the second time you've complained this week?" I told him, yes, I did realize. And did he realize this was the 14th night in a row that he'd played his music so loud I couldn't even hear my own TV at full volume? So he got really aggressive and flippant and told me, well, this is Iceland. I'm allowed to play my music. No one else has a problem with it, so if you don't like it, go back to the country you came from. Or call the police, I don't care. Then he slammed the door in my face, and through the door I could hear him laughing with his friends about it. I felt pretty down and frustrated about it, and soon after I got really sick with flu, probably from the stress and lack of sleep. So once a day I would take one of my used snotty tissues and wipe it all over his door handle. Sure enough, for about a week the party stopped, I assume because he got flu and was too sick to throw them. Oh, that little window of quiet was such bliss. But then one Wednesday morning I was woken at 5 a.m. with the sound of loud dance music and lots of girls whooping and screaming. I remembered his words, call the police if you don't like it, so I did. The cops showed up and shut the party down. Later the next evening there was a knock at my door, and it was him. "Did you call the police on me last night?" he asked, extremely put out. I told him, yes I did. Indignantly he asked, "Can you not call the police on me? Next time just come and speak to me." I told him, "But I did speak to you about it before and you were just rude." Not knowing what to say, he just looked at me for a few moments, then said in a pointless and bitter threat, "Just don't call them again, okay?" I replied, "Okay. If you don't keep me awake all night then I won't call them." It was kind of okay for a few weeks, but then got noisy again. Finally, he couldn't resist and threw another party. As it happens, I had friends staying with me and they came into my bedroom at 2 a.m. and asked me to do something because they couldn't sleep. So I called the cops, who shut the party down. A few weeks later he was kicked out of his apartment. It turns out that he wasn't a music producer, but he was a drug dealer, and the police arrested him that night and his landlord was informed. I found out later that every single person in the apartment block had been complaining about him for months, but I guess he'd never dared any of them to call the police. I felt like I did everyone a massive favor by taking him on. And wow! It felt so good when he was finally gone.